We're all a funny breed because we all live funny hours. Our day start early, you know, so lunchtime is our end of our day. Over here, mostly it's your salad and your tomatoes, lettuce, pak choy, your mushrooms and stuff by here. This section here then is your vegetables. Covers most of Wales, this market does. But it's very quiet now, but all these years ago, they used to be completely full. I pick up stuff here, and I deliver them to restaurants then.
Craig Parkin is living and working with type 1 diabetes. As you might have noticed, it's not holding him back.
What's all this stuff in here? It's just exotic stuff from all over the world, these are.
If you drive for a living, like Craig, a diagnosis of type 1 diabetes doesn't mean you have to stop, but it does mean you have to start planning ahead.
It's about also making sure that when you're driving, you also keep safe.
It is one of those diseases that it has statutory regulations about informing people about having diabetes and the treatment that you're on for the diabetes.
I know, it's not sexy, but it is important.
And the reason is because very often we start people on tablets or insulin that have an impact on their blood glucose and can bring their blood glucose down too low.
If you have a hypo behind the wheel, the consequences could be horribly serious.
You don't want to scare people to stop them driving, but neither do you want people to ignore the warnings from the DVLA.
By and large, the DVLA, along with clinicians like myself, work as hard as possible to make sure that patients are provided with the appropriate information and not stopping them from driving, but actually aiding them to make sure that they are safe.
The only time the DVLA will want to stop you driving is if you have no idea about when you're having a hypo, or if you can't treat your hypos on your own.
If they have a Group 2 driving license and this occurs once, then the advice would be to them not to drive. If they have a Group 1 driving license, then it is more than one or more episodes, then they are not allowed to drive.
Craig has been managing his diabetes and driving for a living for 20 years.
I tested this morning at 10 to 5, and that was 7.1. So yeah, that was okay.
The DVLA says that you must test your blood glucose before driving using a meter that has a memory. And before driving, generally, we take that to mean half an hour to an hour before you drive. If you drive for longer than 2 hours, you must stop and have a carbohydrate snack and probably test your blood glucose again.
So now I'm 14 now. So, because I've had coffee with sugar in it. So I just have a little injection now, which will be 12. And that'll do me for a few hours now until I want to have my sandwich, and then I'll be back to normal that sort of level, you know.
I don't want you to run too high, and I don't want you to run too low. We are seeing a number of persons who come and they have deliberately run the blood glucose reading so high that it also puts them at risk of long-term complications because of high blood sugar.
If you're a busy mum or a businessman who's in and out of the car a lot, our advice would be test your blood sugars before you start driving. Now clearly if you're getting in and out of the car on a school run, you wouldn't need to test at school. However, you might need to test if you've been shopping all morning and you've been in and out of the car for 3 hours or so. It might be really useful to test your blood sugars again before driving home.
When you start to use insulin every day to manage your diabetes, the DVLA will take away your existing licence and replace it with one that's renewed for shorter periods of time, 1, 2 or 3 years. A bus or lorry driver has to do a bit more work to record glucose readings and the like. But ultimately, their focus is ensuring that you are safe on the roads.
When your blood sugar is under 5 but higher than 4, have something to eat. So a snack, biscuits, a drink, and then basically that should be okay. If your blood sugar is less than 4, then the advice is not to drive.
So what do you do if you feel as if you're having a hypo?
Stop the car, turn the engine off, get out of the car, take the keys out of the ignition, if you have keys, either get into the back or into the passenger seat, and only at that point treat the hypo. The idea is that you must not be in control of the car. The police, if they find you, will see that you have made strenuous efforts not to be at the wheel. That's why we go through all this funny little rigmarole.
And if you don't?
There is a possibility that they will charge you for driving under the influence of drugs. That's what people have been charged for if you have a hypo at the wheel.
And then?
Treat the hypo using whatever you normally treat a hypo with, whether that's jelly babies or dextrose tablets.
Anything that really equates to about between 15 to 20 grams of carbohydrate.
Remembering to follow that on with something a little more complex. Biscuits are useful to carry in a car.
The next step is to check your blood glucose 15 minutes after taking this high-strength glucose.
But crucially, remember that you've got to wait 45 minutes for the hypo to resolve normally.
It is a very difficult problem and a real pain, but we do know that within the 45-minute period, there is still many people who, although their blood glucose readings are normal, still have problems with judgment and awareness and driving safely.
We do not want people to have hypos, but they are part and parcel of good glycemic control.
Our ambition is to enable our drivers to live a full and active lifestyle and not to restrict them from driving. With people with diabetes, the important thing is actually to get them living well with their diabetes rather than let them seeing it as a disease or a hindrance to their general lifestyle.
For more information, go to gov.uk/diabetes-driving and diabetes.org.uk.